In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this simple gown with gathers. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. To start, here is my pattern paper and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements on this pattern. So I'll be using the full length of this pattern paper as the full length of my dress. I marked my shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline and 7 inches to get the hip point of my pattern. Now the full length of this pattern paper I'm using for my dress is about 35 inches. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7 inches and I will mark. After marking that, I'll come down by 1 inch here. From this point, I'll place my ruler and connect. Now, I'm going to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. So whatever I have there, I'm going to go ahead to take the measurement and place it here so that I'll have a straight line and I'll draw this out. So after I'm done marking that, I'll go back and mark what I have on the shoulder, place my ruler, and I'm going to connect to have a straight line. After that, I'm just going to go ahead to insert my measurement before going back to mark my armhole. Now, I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Here on the hip point, which is 7 inches after my waistline, I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Whatever measurement I have here, I'm going to take it all the way to the blouse length because I'm going to replace the lower part of this dress with a gathers. So there won't be any need to shape the lower part. So I'll place my I'll place my ruler and I'm going to connect my pattern starting from the upper part all the way to the lower part of my pattern this way. So after I'm done marking this, I'm just going to go ahead to use my marker to outline it also to make it more visible for you to see. After outlining that, I'm going to place my tape and I'm going to divide what I have here into 2. I'll come out by ½ inch, and at the lower part of my pattern, after coming out ½ inch at this point, at the lower part of the chest line area, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to place my ruler and I'm going to connect from there all the way to the ½ inch at the armhole and to the upper part of the shoulder. Now the next step is to decide where you want your dress to start, that is at the overbust. I'm just using 1.5 inches. You can go ahead to place your tape and measure where you want it to stop from your shoulder line. Now I'll just go ahead and blend this out to the armhole area of my pattern. Now this is what I have for the upper part of my pattern, and we are also going to cut out the lower part. Now for the lower part, when you're cutting it, whatever you cut out, you're going to replace it with a gathers. I'll go ahead to use my marker to replace this. Now take the measurement you have from here to your shoulder. Mine is about 6 inches. You'll be needing that to complete or know the measurement you're going to use to create the ruffle at the shoulder. Now from my hip line, I'm going to draw out this line. Now measure the remaining part of the lower part of your dress. So after measuring, what I have is about 11.5 inches. I'll add extra 2 inches to it for folding allowance, making it 13.5 inches. So for the lower part of this dress, I'll cut 13.5 inches by 3 yards. That is what I'll use for the ruffle area or the gathers area of this dress. So after cutting, this is what the upper part of this pattern looks like. Now to make it easy for you, you can use this your pattern to cut out the back. All you have to do is blend out the chest line at this point and then add a zipper to it. So when I was cutting out this pattern, I added a zipper to the front part. So you can use about 1.5 inches for your zipper at the back or 2 inches. It totally depends on what you want to use. Now I'll go in by ½ inch to take out the zipper bulge at the back. Now I'll place my ruler and I'll be connecting this from that point all the way to the lower part of my pattern, and I'll extend it to the upper part. After marking that out, I'm going to go ahead to use my scissors to cut out that part, to cut out that part that I won't be needing at the back. Now, I'll come down by ½ inch and take this up. This is to avoid my pattern from popping up when I'm putting on the dress. Now, to know the measurement you have for the chest line area for the back to complete the sleeve. Remember when we measured our shoulder, our chest line is 7 inches. So that 7 inches you have now, you're going to add it to the front measurement of the sleeve. When we measure the sleeve, we had about 6 inches plus this 7 inches we are using will give us 13 inches. Now you add like ½ inch on both sides for joining. So now you're going to create like a pleat this way, turn your fabric, create like a pleat. So for that sleeve, that pleat will be roughly 13 inches plus ½ inch for joining allowance on both sides, making it 14 inches for the sleeve of the dress. So whatever pleat I'm making for the shoulder for the sleeve, it should be around 14 inches in length.